In this video, we will see how to install DHCP on Windows Server 2022. So I have logged on to Windows Server 2022, and as you could see, I have AD and DNS roles already installed on the server. I'm going to install DHCP on the same server. However, this is not a mandatory requirement. You can install DHCP even on a server that is not part of AD environment. So before we begin installation, there are certain prerequisites that we need to check. The first prerequisite is we need to log in with admin account to the server. So since this server is part of AD environment, I have logged on to this server with domain admin account. Then the second prerequisite is server should have static IP address. So to check that, right click Windows logo and then go to network connections. Then scroll down and click on change adapter options. And then you will see network adapter connected to this server. So right click network adapter and click on properties. Then double click IPv4 and here you will see the static IP address configuration that is already done on the server. So I have set IP address for the server, then the subnet mask, then the default gateway address, which is typically .1 address, and then I have also set DNS server IP address. And the third prerequisite is we need to decide about the IP addresses for DHCP scope. So after we install a DHCP role on this server, we will be configuring something known as DHCP scope, and that scope will have all the IP addresses that DHCP can distribute automatically to client computers. I have selected a smaller address range, but you could even have a larger pool of IP addresses. Then you will have to decide the gateway address, which is the router address for the network, that is typically .1 address. And then you will also have to decide the DNS server address. This will be the address of the DNS server in your network. So all the prerequisites are now done. Now we can start with the installation. Open Server Manager and click on Manage, then go to Add Roles and Features, then click Next. Select role based or feature based installation and then click Next. Then select the server where you want to install the role and then click Next. Now here you need to select DHCP server, and the moment you click on DHCP server, it will ask you if you want to also install DHCP server tools. So make sure you also select this option at the bottom, include management tools, and then click on add features and then click next. Now in the features section, we are not going to change anything. Click next. So it says you should configure at least one static IP address that we have already done. And it also says before you install, you should plan your subnet scopes and exclusions. So we have already planned our DHCP scope. So then click next. And then select this checkbox, restart the destination server automatically if required. Click yes, so that during installation, if restart is required, we don't have to manually restart the server. It will automatically restart and complete the installation. And then click on install. And now the installation has started. So now as you could see, it says installation succeeded and it also says configuration required. So click on complete DHCP configuration and it will open up a new window called DHCP post install configuration wizard. So these two security groups would be created, and then we will also have to authorize DHCP server if this server is part of AD environment. So in our case, this server is part of AD environment, so we'll have to definitely authorize the DHCP server, and then these two groups will also be created. So click next. And now in order to authorize DHCP server, we need to provide credentials. We do not want any unwanted server to distribute IP addresses. So that is the reason we have to separately authorize this DHCP server. Only after authorization, this server will be able to distribute IP addresses. So currently I've logged on with the domain admin account. So I'll say use the following user's credentials, which is the logged in user, which is the domain admin account, and then click on commit at the bottom. So now it shows me the status of post install configuration, Creating security groups is done. So it has created the two security groups that are required for DHCP server administration. And then it has also completed authorizing of the DHCP server. So then click close and then click on close again. And if you see on the server manager on the left hand side, now I also have DHCP section here. It also shows me the server where DHCP is installed. So click on tools and go to option DHCP. So on the left hand side, it shows you the domain name. So expand that and then you will have the options IPv4 and IPv6. So right click IPv4 and click on new scope. The new scope wizard will open. Click on next. Now we'll have to give a name for the DHCP scope. So I'll just say test scope A and then click next. Then it asks us to set the IP address range. So this is the IP address range that we have decided. So let me type the start IP and the end IP address. So I have typed the start IP address and end IP address. As soon as I type these addresses, it automatically detects the subnet mask, which is the correct one for our subnet, and then click on next. Then it asks us to add exclusions and delay. So as part of this video, we are not going to configure exclusions and delay. So keep this as it is and then click on next. Now it asks us to set lease duration. Generally, a longer lease duration is required for laptops and desktops, and a shorter lease duration is required for mobile devices. Depending on the type of devices that you have in the network, you can decide what lease duration you want to set. So for demonstration purpose, I'll keep the default value of 8 days. What this means is after 8 days, the client computer will request for a new IP address to the DHCP server. Click next. Then it asks us to configure the most common DHCP options. So I'm going to select the option yes, I want to configure these options and then click next. So here we can set the default gateway address as part of DHCP scope options. So this will be the router address for your subnet. Normally it's the .1 address. We have already decided what that address would be. So let me type the address here and then click on add, then click next. Now it asks us to set the domain name and DNS server address. So domain name would come into picture if the server is part of the domain environment. So it has automatically detected the domain name and it has displayed here. In the DNS server IP address, again it has picked up the DNS server IP address that I have already configured on the network adapter. So you can add the IP addresses of DNS servers that are running in your network. So then click next. Then it asks for Wins server addresses. We are not using any Wins servers, so keep it blank and click next. Then it asks if you want to activate this scope now. So I'll select the option yes, I want to activate this scope and then click next. And then it says you have successfully completed new scope wizard. So click finish. Expand IPv4, you could see our scope, which is the test scope A that we just now created. You can click on address pool and it will show you the range of IP addresses that we have set. It will also show you the scope options that we have configured. So this completes the installation and basic configuration of DHCP server. Now what we are going to do is we are going to test DHCP functionality on the client computer. So I'm going to log in to a Windows 11 computer and then I will check if that computer is able to get IP address from DHCP server. So now I have logged on to a Windows 11 computer. So right click Windows logo, click on run and then in the run prompt type ncpa.cpl. So now it shows us the network adapter that is connected to this Windows 11 computer. So right click network adapter and go to properties, then double click IPv4 And now currently, as you could see, static IP addresses are assigned on this Windows 11 computer. So we do not want to use static IP addresses. We want DHCP server to assign IP addresses to this computer. So to do that, click on obtain an IP address automatically. And also click the option for DNS servers, obtain DNS server address automatically. Click on OK, click on OK again. Search for CMD, that is the command prompt. Now in the command prompt, type ipconfig/all. And now as you could see here in the adapters section, it shows us the IPv4 address that is assigned. So as you could see, the address is 192.168.215.40. This is the first address in the IP address range that we set on the DHCP server. So this client computer has successfully got an IP address from DHCP server. There's the subnet mask. And then if you could see, the default gateway is the .1 address that we configured on DHCP. And then it also shows us the DNS server address that we have configured. It also shows us the DHCP server IP address. So this way we have tested DHCP functionality on Windows 11. Now go back to DHCP server and under scope click on address leases, and under address lease you will be able to see the IP address that is assigned to the client computer. So it shows us what IP address is assigned, what is the name of the client computer. It also shows us the lease expiration. So by going to address leases section, you will be able to see the existing IP addresses that are distributed by DHCP server. So this way we installed and configured DHCP on Windows Server 2022, and we also tested DHCP functionality on Windows 11 client computer. So if you found information in this video to be useful, then please subscribe to IT tutorials. Thank you.